Hi. Welcome to the stream, you guys. Another stream. Lazy ass streamer, no entertainment, absolutely no value stream, okay? What the fuck? Okay. Ugh, it's too warm. Rebecca Larine, apparently there has been announced a PvP beta for Overwatch 2. You're super excited. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you are excited. Happy for you. That is amazing. Meanwhile, I can never settle on a stream setup. Can never get it right. It's okay. What's up? What's up, Space Ducks?
What's up, Space Ducks? How are you doing today? So, when I start the stream, I know you can do it.
What's good, Rebecca Lorian? Rebecca. Yikes! What a crazy lady. What a crazy lady. Starting her stream when she doesn't have any followers. Yeah, it's okay. We got work to do. We got stories to write. We got stuff to draw. You know, writing, drawing, music. We got all sorts of stuff to do, so you know, I can do that live because it helps motivate me. Having like a live stream, it helps motivate me, keep me working instead of just sitting in bed all day, being like not doing anything at all. You know, gotta actually get some work done. So that I can actually gain those followers, you know? Get a blog published. Get YouTube videos and stuff. TikTok. You know? All the stuff I gotta do. I really gotta get TikTok going, honestly. Like, that's... I really don't know how to appeal to people there. People seem to love me there, but it's really hard for me to make TikToks all the time. Especially since I can't really go live without my phone glowing bright red from the heat. Oof, it's getting warm. I gotta turn on the fan. Yes, Stream Elements. My only other friend. Yikes. What am I doing? Tickle my Wily? Jesus Christ, dude. That's funny. A little crude, but it's funny. Yikes. What are we doing? What are we doing? So, yesterday I went to San Francisco again because I had my consultation for facial feminizing. Facial feminization will happen within the next few months. It's a bit overwhelming. The prospect of getting all that surgery done is a bit daunting. Luckily, I have a strong facial structure that's already pretty feminine. The only real work that needs to be done is like over in the brow area and some forehead, you know, because I don't want to look like a caveman, okay? Yeah, so Justin, thank you for joining. Writing shorts and novels since 1986. Oh my god. From Sealand Island, Denmark, all the way there, just in case. It's good to see you again. Unless you're a different person than the other just in case that I've seen. But if not, nice to meet you. If so, good to see you again. I am procrastinating a lot, aren't I? I was starting soon for like an hour. It's okay. I'm not on any deadline. I'm not on anybody's time but my own. I got plenty of time to write my stories. I've got my novel that's still percolating again for the second draft. Slowly working on it. Taking it aside to focus on some short fiction. And I got a nice story a-brewing. About experiments on memory, like viewing people's memories, like kind of like Minority Report, but not developed yet. So it's like this development phase, and the characters kind of get some side effects and get some telepathic abilities. So I'm playing around with that in my head, but we'll flesh out some of it today. Maybe even draft some scenes. It's hard for me to see. The thing is, the way I outline is I will write a draft scene first, and as time goes on, I use those scenes to like say, okay, that scene I wrote, I like add that to my outline. And like kind of every single time I form a bigger and bigger picture over what I'm going to be writing. And by the time I finish the draft, I have a more complete outline. When I go in for the second draft, I have to basically start over, kind of turn that outline into a more solid and cohesive one. But then I kind of do the same process again. And I might do that for a short story. I might do that, like, you know, probably like several times, like maybe 7 times. I don't know. I've never gone through the full revision process. Hugh Barnett Cave. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not going to use a pseudonym. I'm just going to use my name, Rebecca Lauren. Okay, you know, it's a good enough name, okay? I gave this, you know, it's somewhat based on my dead name, but I named myself, and it's a very nice name. People really like it. Like, when I tell people my name, they're like, that's a pretty name. Like, that's like a beautiful name. Like, Rebecca Lauren. Like, it's so much better than how my old last name sounded. Like, you know, I don't know, Rebecca Loringer just didn't feel right. You know, this is interesting. As time goes on with my transition, I'm feeling more and more comfortable with myself, and also feeling less traumatized by being reminded of my past, which is a really good thing because I hated being traumatized. Like being reminded that I was assigned male at birth used to like hurt, like at the very beginning of my transition, like hurt me bad. But now it's just like, oh, it's just like this part of my history, you know, who cares? I don't know. I feel like I'm going a really healthy direction with my mental health, and having that consultation yesterday, knowing that, you know, okay, like having the doctor look at my face and be very positive about my health and about, like, you know, that I'm going to have good results. You know, a doctor who does this for a living, you know, working and has many transgender patients and has worked on many different kinds of faces. In fact, faces way more masculine than mine. And so, and I've seen the results, the before and after, for them. And interestingly enough, they, I consented to them taking my photograph. So people are going to see my results too, and it's going to help them. Lychee? Or leche? No. Leche. Is that how you... I don't know how you would pronounce that, Justin. Either way, everybody's different. Some people want to use a pseudonym, some people use their real name. It's just how it is. I've spent so much time attaching myself to this name that attaching myself to another name would sounds like a torture. And I don't know what pseudonym I would use anyway. You know what's funny is some people probably think this is a pseudonym. It's multiple layers of obfuscation. If people think that this isn't my real name, then they'll try to think my old name is my real name. And if that means they have to try to look for my old name to try to dox me or whatever. And I'm like, I already doxed myself, okay? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll take your word on that. That it's impossible to pronounce. Toll? I don't know. Now you freaking got me on a track. Now I'm trying to look it up, but I can't find it. Oh my goodness, because it thinks I want to get oh, Duklech. Here we go. I'm getting there. Oh, but they don't have pronunciation guide.
Flash, bash, clash, mash, thrash, smash. Plus I do it with the stash and panache.
Gosh.
Leche. 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 Yükü. Yükü. Leche.
Leche. I don't know. I just don't know, Justin. Yeah, and you know, the thing about, you know, I have the facial feminization surgery will be happening in like a few months. I don't know exactly when yet. Hey, Aussie Pitbull. I don't know exactly when, but I had the consultation yesterday, and it, you know, we kind of went over the process. It's going to be a process and a half. Like, I'm going to stay overnight, and I guess they're going to do my surgery first thing in the morning. And then, like, it's like a 5-hour surgery, but I do go home that day. Oh, thank you so much, Aussie. I do feel beautiful, but I do have some adjustments I need to do on my face, okay? If not for anyone else, for me. Because I just need some adjustments, and it's so bad that I don't even feel like I can wear makeup, because when I put makeup on, it makes me feel even more dysphoric. So it's like I can't explore that side of myself. Like I want to be able to explore like makeup and stuff, and I can't, because it's just it makes me feel more masculine when I put makeup on. When I see my brow, when I see my nose, not so much my jaw, but he did say they might do a little bit over here, you know, whatever the doctor, you know, I trust the doctor. My main doctor, you know, referred me to this doctor, and I've seen the results, and I'm going to be very happy. It's going to be a process and a half, though, but. A lot of Danish writers. Yeah, I'm kind of a wannabe writer. I'm not established. I don't really have anything published. That's kind of why I'm working on some short fiction. And you know, obviously I want to work on my novel, but I can't do that publicly. I want to do that privately, so that I can work on my full novel with the door closed, so to speak. And I also want to attempt going the traditional route as much as I can before I attempt to spend the money and effort to self-publish. I would prefer getting a solid manuscript and finding, and the thing is like, I don't want to do this alone. I want it like an agent. Like I don't want to be the sole responsibility for my work getting published. Like as far as short fiction though, that doesn't really matter so much, because you know, I need a lot of practice with that, and you know, the only reason to write short fiction, in my opinion, is to get better at writing and to, you know, have fun. So I feel like that's a great opportunity, is to work on my short fiction on stream, because that's like, it's kind of more of a open process, and I get direct feedback in some cases. Although in the end of the day, I don't really, I mean, when it comes to random, especially unsolicited feedback, I don't really pay attention too much. But you know, if it's somebody who's been around my stream for a while, and I, you know, is able to give me some feedback during the, you know, the brainstorming process, which is kind of where I'm at right now. Oh, you mean writers in general? The thing is, I feel like writing, even though it's solitary, I feel like in order to be a writer, you have to be very people-oriented. Same with music, another thing that I do. I've been a musician in, you know, I've been like a musician in school, like since I was a child. I'm 34 now. But, you know, and I went to college, you know, around like 2016 to 2018. 2015 to 2018. Yeah, follow me everywhere. It's always okay. I'm trying to be famous. You know, because that would help me sell my books. Maybe I can write. See, I'm doing multiple things. I'm not just streaming on Twitch and stuff. I'm not just doing YouTube. I'm not just doing TikTok. I'm not just doing other websites. You know, I'm doing all the above, and I'm not just trying to be a writer. I'm not just trying to be a musician. Not just trying to be an actress. Like, I have like a whole freaking package, so to speak. And the and the thing is like, I don't want to limit myself, and I think obviously the more people know who I am, the more people follow me, the better I'm gonna do. You know, it's gonna be easier for me in the long run. I won't have to work as hard. You know, it won't be as hard to find an agent. You know, if I already have like if I had like 1,000 people watching my stream every day, watching me write short stories, could you imagine that? Maybe that's what does it. But like, you know, I have a blog with a whole bunch of short stories in my repertoire. Don't you think like if I had like 1,000 current viewers watching me write short stories, agents would be like knocking on my door like, hey, we want you to write novels, like like, let's publish you, like, instead of the other way around where I'm begging them. You know, I want them to beg me. That's the secret of the industry. You shouldn't need a business card. People should come to you. That's the goal, is to be so good that people come to you instead of you like begging people to help you. You know, because who wants to do that? Like some nobody. Oh yeah, you know, I'll read your draft, and it sits on a pile for like months at a time. Or you're like this like personality that people know about, and you're published yourself like on a blog or something for a while, and then you're at some kind of event, and then some agent comes to you and says, hi, I'm such and such from such and such agency, here's my business card, and they give you their business card. That's my goal, okay? I want to be that. Like, oh my god, it's Rebecca Lauren. Oh god, she doesn't have an agent. Where somebody just leaps into my bosom and begs me to be their agent. I mean, begs me for them to be my agent. Okay, so I don't have to work as hard. See, the goal is to be lazy. That's the goal, is to be lazy and get more work done with less effort. Yeah, author tuber. Yeah, I want to find feedback, but I have to actually have some stuff written down instead of just random snippets that I've attempted and then shelved and then done that for like 10 years. Like at this point, I've been like actively writing for like 8 hours. I mean, 8 years, not hours. I really like NaNoWriMo. It helped me write a lot of my first draft to my novel, Even Star. And I've publicly leaked the very first draft to that novel, but the thing is the story and even the characters are so different from that draft that I felt okay publishing that, because the final version is going to be so different from the original. Like the draft was basically inventing the characters, and it's a bunch of random nonsense that somewhat resembles what it's going to be, but not really. And obviously when you try to publish, publishers, like, you know, they want to purchase the first publishing rights, and it's to the current manuscript, not to the earlier drafts. And the draft is so garbage that it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, I love reading. I've been reading The Wheel of Time for a number of years. I'm on the Brandon Sanderson leg of it. I love Brandon Sanderson. Well, I want to find an agent who's right for me. And I'm glad that works for you. I'm just the kind of personality who needs somebody in my corner. Like, I need somebody, like, that's what I've been able to do with my transition. Like, I have a therapist, I have a psychiatrist, I have 2 doctors, I have a mental health worker / case manager. Like, I need to work with people. Like that's my, like, you know, that's what I need. And so I need to, and I think I need to, like, once I have a manuscript, I need to do some research and find a good agent. And I think it's important to find a good agent, like one who will fight for you and work with you, not somebody who just like says, oh yeah, I can get you published, you know, for a price, you know, like that. Fuck that. You don't want to get like a bullshit agent. You want to get a real agent, which requires a lot of work in and of itself. Like, you know, meet people, like go to writing conventions, but not with the goal of trying to find an agent, but just to like be in the sphere, you know. Yeah, I gotta get somebody who's like a good agent, like not somebody who's nice to you and shit, but they will work with you, you know. From what I've heard from people is like, from like, you know, established authors, like very established. A lot of the stuff I've learned is from listening to Brandon Sanderson, and he seems to be pretty connected to a lot of different authors, and his recent Kickstarter really kicked ass. And obviously, you know, nowadays it's a blend of old and new. I think it's important. I just want to try to do it the traditional way before I self-publish, because as soon as I self-publish, I can't go back and try to do it traditionally. So it's like I want to try the traditional route with this first novel first, while I'm working on my second novel. And I have a couple novels that are shelved. So it's like I have plenty of stuff backed up, you know, I have plenty of stuff to work on. Like I have plenty of like projects. Like I have 3 main projects, and they're all in the same universe, but across 3 different like 3 different points in time. But like it's on the same planet, and they all kind of influence each other. I mean, the third one obviously is in the future. Like, you know, the first one is like the origin of everything. The second, but it's like not connected to the story. It's just connected to the, you know, to the world. Like like all the stuff that happened in the first one was like in the ancient history days. And then, like, you know, you have the main one. I consider Evenstar to be the central, like it is literally the center. I consider Evenstar to be the center. I mean, I guess if you want to like take a page from take a page. If you want to take a page from Brandon Sanderson, you know, like he has this Cosmere. Like I have my Tress, because it's a planet called Tress. Although it was called Terra in the first one. So I have the Scourge, and then I have Evenstar, and then I have Inner Defense. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be still called the Scourge in the final version, but I don't know if Inner Defense is going to be called Inner Defense, but yeah. Your métier. Yeah, you know, the thing is I have to actually do the writing, and that's kind of why I inspired myself. Yeah, it's okay not to be doing it as a professional. And you know, the thing is I'm autistic, and I recently got awarded SSI, so at the very least I have an income at the moment. I'm working on several different avenues of you know, building a business for myself, but it's not very likely anytime soon. You know, to be a YouTuber, like to actually be to make a living as a YouTuber or a streamer or a, you know, an actress or anything like that, or a writer, like very unlikely to make a living on, but I can at least be attempting these things. And these are all things that I enjoy. And, you know, I just don't like when people frame it in the way when they say, oh, don't do it as a job, do it as a hobby. I think that's like, it's too black and white. It's like it's a job and it's a hobby. Like you don't have to have either or. Like you and your fancy French. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to take your advice either. So it's like, you know, best advice to forget about mentors' age. I'm telling you, for me personally, I work better with people than doing stuff on my own. As obviously, I have to be my own advocate, and that's why I'm starting up a blog. You know, that's why I'm working on these short stories. It's because I can start putting myself out there through my short stories, and get like a huge like sort of following, hopefully, and then. You know, when I'm ready to work to publish my novel, there's a lot of different options I want to consider. I want to try going through some traditional publishing houses first, because I feel like if I can get an agent or an editor for a publishing house from a credible, like, you know, like Tor or something, like if they want my novel, then I know I have something good, and then I know that I could continue to sell stuff that's good. But in the end of the day, I have to have a good manuscript, and it doesn't matter whether you self-publish or traditionally publish. So in the end of the day, nothing is gonna, you know, just being able to self-publish doesn't mean you're gonna succeed. Yeah, and GK Chesterton says, I owe my success to having listened respectfully to the very best advice and then going away and doing the exact opposite. I don't think it's that black and white either. I really just think that everybody's different. Everybody has to find their own way, and there's no shortcuts. There's no excuse. There's no like, oh, you know, I'm gonna have it easy. There is no having it easy. Like, you know, just like, you know, I've been going through my life, and that's why it's been really hard to pursue creative endeavors, is because going through like the process of transitioning chemically and surgically changing my body, you know, the two main surgeries that I'm getting are about to happen. Like a couple months I'm having facial surgery. Within the next year or two, I'm having vaginoplasty, and then I'm done, okay? As small as my boobs are, you know, they're not super small, and it kind of runs in my family. Like, you know, it kind of matches, like, my family. So it's like, it's natural for me. Some of my family has larger breasts, but, some, you know, the other side has, like, smaller. And so I really don't think I need breast augmentation at all, because I enjoy my body, and I want to see how I fully develop. You know, it takes, like, 5 years total. Really, it doesn't really. It probably won't. They probably won't grow too much where they are now. And obviously, I'm kind of hiding them right now because I'm in pajama mode. Okay, when I'm doing my stream, I'm kind of like not trying to be too booba. I kind of just dress in more gender neutral clothes most of the time. Sometimes I dress up a little bit. But I think in the end of the day, like, nobody can tell you how to be a streamer or a YouTuber or a writer or a musician. They can say what worked for them, but in the end of the day, like, you could do exactly what they do and it still won't work. Like, you have to do the work to find what works. Not doing what works. It's not like a recipe. You don't just say, oh, well, if I do this, this, and this, I'll equal success. And that might work if you want to be a plumber or like a lawyer or like a doctor or something like that. But that's not really how creative work is. You know, it's like you have to find your own path, and nothing is ever going to take away the effort required. And it's kind of scary. And, you know, for me, I don't want to do it alone. You know, obviously I have to do it alone now because I have to actually produce the content. You know, that you write with the door closed. And even though I'm kind of like, you know, doing an experiment in order to get myself writing, I'm doing it on stream. It does two things. It gives me a reason to stream, and it also gives me a reason to write. So either way, if I'm procrastinating, I'm still winning because I'm still talking and I'm still doing my stream. If I'm writing, I'm doing the writing. So it's like, and you know, honestly, I'm not on anyone's schedule but my own. And so, you know, I'm trying not to beat myself up too much over my output, because I think that a lot of the time I will I'll like get upset, you know, I'll like write like a few pages even, and you know, and I'll be like, oh, I didn't write enough. Or I'll write like, you know, like it's just really frustrating. And right now I'm in a very early stage with this specific story. And I'm also trying not to limit myself because I might want to explore alternate stories at the same time, but I'm kind of trying to focus. So I'm like in the outline stage, and so that means that like there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. You know what's interesting is like sometimes I like look at myself and I hear myself and I'm like, whoa, like who is this person? And it's kind of interesting because I have this idea in my head of like who I am, and then sometimes I see myself and I'm like I see like the light in my eyes, and I see like Rebecca, like you're such a beautiful person, like you have a kindness to you, and sometimes it doesn't really show. Sometimes you're super like upset or something, but sometimes you can really see the gentleness inside of you, and I think that's a reminder. Like even though it doesn't change the fact that I do have some surgeries I need, it does remind me that they're, you know, in the end of the day, my beauty doesn't come from my outward appearance, and that's not the reason why I'm getting the surgeries. I'm getting the surgeries because I don't want to have to be reminded of super masculine features, even though other people don't seem to see it all the time. Like it's not about other people. Trousers. These aren't trousers. These are pajamas. Norman Spinrad. See the thing? Okay, here's the thing. I need to get so many artists, like musicians, painters, writers, actors, actresses. They seem to have this ability to know every single other person that's doing what they're doing, and I don't. And it's not that I don't like read and write and listen to other people. Like I'm probably selling myself short here. I probably know a lot of names, but I have a really hard time. Like you mentioned Norman Spinrad, I have no idea who that is. And that's okay. There's so many writers out there, so it's like it's just kind of frustrating. It makes me feel inferior. Like, oh God, how come I don't know this person? And then people sometimes do that thing where they're like, how can you not know? You need to read this. And then like 1,000 other people come and say, you need to read this. It's like, I can't read everything. So it's like, I've tried to learn how to get over that and like not care what other people think. So not to be rude to you. I'm just saying like, personally, like when people do that, I kind of roll my eyes a little bit. Like, I'm like, okay, well, I know what I'm doing. Like I have my own thing going on, and I do my own reading, and I have my, you know, I have my own inspiration, and I care more about the work than who wrote it. Like, so if I read something, I just care more about what they wrote. Like I don't always like, I don't like this idea of only reading something because such and such wrote it. I like reading something and then it's like, okay, who wrote it? Like I pay more attention to the work because I care about that. Not to try to be, I hope that doesn't come across as like rude. It just kind of reminded me of some stuff. I'm really procrastinating. Jeez. Yeah, I have like an hour before my appointment, so let's try to do something at least. Jeez. Do a little bit of a exercise or something. Let's see. Let's get to let's get to something. Ah! Okay. Okay. Let's see. Well, at least I got a little bit. I got like 2 pages of this size page. Story will sound interesting when you're done. Yeah, I hope so. An urban fantasy novel that you're working on, Justin? Nice. You can't read your handwriting? Good. Hey, Goo Goo. Story time. Yes. It's okay. I'm gonna type it all out later when I go through the transcription process, you know? I got a separate process for transcribing, okay? Like, and also when I want to write faster, I'm not really in the fast writing stage. I'm in the story, I'm in the outlining phase, and so I do a lot of more handwriting when I'm kind of building things. At least I'm learning about the way my workflow works for writing. I'm starting to learn like what works for me, and for me, being able to write stuff out by hand is really helpful. And so I have multiple ways to write out by hand. I recently came up with a way to write it on my computer with my tablet that I had another tablet, but I broke it, so I got another one. So, you know, my Wacom tablet, Intuos. I had a Bamboo one before, but I think I spilled water on it or something. I don't know what happened. But either way, this one was used. It was like $50, so it's not too bad. And it was like basically good as new. It was, I don't know what happened. It was, sometimes you get stuff that's used, but it's in good condition, and it's through Amazon warehouse or whatever. I don't know, but coming up with different systems of, you know, drafting is really, really important for me. What the fuck? Oh, fuck. Oh, what have I done? Okay. Okay, so what do we got here? Okay, let's see. That one. Groggy. Yeah, I like the word groggy. Norman Spinrad was a big sci-fi name in the US and Europe. His fiction has won the Prix Apollo and been nominated for numerous awards, including the Hugo Award and I'll have to check him out sometime. Which means I might check him out. I don't. It's, you know, what's really frustrating is when like I feel like I need to read somebody, and then it's like now I feel forced to do it, and it's like I don't know. It's great when people tell me like their favorite writers and stuff, because it's like gives me access to, like, you know, everybody has their own list of writers that they read, and so it's like it gives me, like, I can pull from different people's you know, inspiration. Sony Chu. Space Ducks working on a webcomic of your own. That's great. Love it. I love that people are doing things that they care about. Ooh. You do? Yeah, it's kind of like she's going through this. I see. There's this like, this is kind of like a version of another short story I was working on, but I combined it with this current idea. So it's like sometimes I do that where it's like I take an idea and it's kind of on its own, and then I have another idea and it's kind of on its own. I'm like, you know what would be great if I combine these two concepts together, where I had a story where I was working on two sisters who took care of their older dad, and so it was like they kind of had like, so it's kind of like the kind of dynamic between the siblings and how they cared about their dad, but like also their own personal lives and how that interacts. And and so that's kind of like a part of the story, but like putting that into the story of like the main plot line, which is the sci-fi plot line of like Christy is like, her job is like she's researching like some unprecedented technology, and so it's like, and there's also, you know, other characters involved there. So it's like I'm trying to learn how to like have connections between characters. Well, that's good. I love reading. It's kind of like I really love movies and television and all that kind of stuff, but I do feel like it is a different kind of feeling. Like when you're reading a story, it feels a lot more personal, because it's like you're filling in a lot of the details yourself. So it's almost like it's an interactive story. Yeah, tensions. Tensions is something that I'm really trying to figure out how to actually implement. It's been something that I feel like I've, you know, I don't give myself enough credit a lot of the time, because a lot of people who've read my drafts have told me that I'm actually really good at it, and I kind of naturally do it. However, I'd like to make more of an effort to improve it instead of just being like just improvising and let it happen naturally. Either way, it's not something I need to worry about too much, because I'm in the drafting phase, and right now I just need to focus on just getting stuff written, and then how, you know, working with it later. And that's the biggest thing I learned from NaNoWriMo in 2014, which is how old my novel is. I attempted writing my novel, the first 50,000 words I wrote in NaNoWriMo 2014, which NaNoWriMo is a month-long endeavor to write 50,000 words. You're technically, if you follow the rules of Nano, it's you have to actually write a full novella, but I didn't. I just wrote like 50,000 words of a novel. But I think the main reason to do it in the first place is to develop sustainable habits, which I kind of didn't do at the time, and that's what I'm doing now. Is I'm trying to like at least come back and think about my writing, and maybe write a little bit, like, you know, a few paragraphs, even a few sentences. Just get it written down every single day. Just do a little bit, or at least most days. You know, just keep coming back and just kind of like, it's like you want to just like, if you have to shade this box in, you know, you start out like this, and then the next day you come in and you shade some more, and then the next day you shade some more, and eventually, like, you know, enough days go by, you've eventually filled out the whole box, you know?
This is a medley from Mega Man 3. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me at mcluston@hotmail.com.
Are you ready to go?
Thank you. It's good to have a little bit of encouragement every now and then. People reminding me that I'm actually doing something. Like in my own mind, it feels like I'm doing nothing. Like it feels like I'm absolutely doing nothing, and I have to remind myself, like, hey, like you literally wrote an entire scene just now, at least an outline to it. Like I kind of have a process where I kind of like write out a scene in like a super bare bones way first, so that I can like outline it, and then when I go back for the second write through, I'll just expand on it after I transcribe it into the main document, the main digital document. Yeah, I mean, there's really no winning or losing. NaNoWriMo is an idea in my mind. I only made it to 50K that one time, but like the stuff that I learned while doing it was, you know, just to sit down and just type or write, however you write. And I think it's like the main power is just getting into sustainable writing habits that carry on past November. And obviously some people really enjoy it and they really get into it, and some people use it as a way to meet new friends. And I did go to some events, and I remember I brought my typewriter to an event, and everybody was like really, I thought people would be annoyed by it because I was typing and it's really loud. But people were actually like, it's kind of cool that there's a typewriter. And I'm like, oh cool, I may have inspired somebody to write. And it's like, I wrote a scene in my novel where there's like a floating continent. And so it's like, it was kind of interesting. I remember like one of my characters, she was like climbing up like a magical like rope or ladder or something that like it went up into seemingly like it was like this like magically like I remember like the way I wrote the scene was kind of interesting, like where she was climbing up from like a room within a room, and then she climbed up into this area that was hidden from the rest of the world, and it was some kind of magic shielding it and stuff like that. So she leaves her door open, and I want to use that, and then the fact that she saw a guy walk into the building that she's never seen before, and she leaves her office door open. There's something there. I think there's something there. There's something there. Okay. Hmm. Well, we got a scene written. Something happens. A little bit of the relationship between a little bit of how's that novel you were gonna and you establish tension between characters. A little bit we're going along the hero's journey, and you're working on that novel. How's that novel you're working on? How's that novel you're working on? And you establish the characters and go through trials and tribulations. Strong grip for the hero's journey. Everybody goes home and it's stronger than they were. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. How's the novel you're working on? It's been about 3 years now that you said that you were working on that novel. 3 years? You've been working on that the whole time? You were working on that novel the whole time? Yeah, this is part of like what I was trying to work on how to do tensions. In order to, it's because the biggest problem I have is coming up with plot. But I think the idea with plot, at least I'm starting to try to figure it out, is that it's the plot is created through the tension that's created between characters trying to achieve their individual goals. And so if you have character A and B want to drink water, but you have character C who wants to stop A from achieving whatever their goal is, and has access to more water, so A and B have tension, but not only that, but C has the ability to create even more tension. And possibly give that water to B instead of A, and that creates more tension. Or maybe wants to play a long con and pretend that they're helping A, and then create more tension with B, and then over in the long run that creates even more tension, creating a bigger downfall for A, which helps C achieve their goal. Where are you located? I'm in like the SF Bay area. You reside in a small cottage at a forest lake on an island in Denmark. That sounds amazing. That sounds like the perfect place to write novels and short stories. A small cottage at a forest lake on an island. Jeez. It's like the perfect place. Well, I got about, I would say like 20-25 minutes, so I guess I'm just chilling right now, kind of just working through some stuff. Plot is the tension or consequences, good, bad, or neutral, created through the process of characters pursuing their goals in a setting. Australia, because you're an Aussie pit bull. You're not just any pit bull, you're an Aussie pit bull. Yeah, and so like also good versus bad, because we have we also have like neutral, but I don't know if there's anything that's actually truly neutral. I guess neutral just oh, you know what I need to do is copy it. Neutral, I guess it kind of exists outside of it. I don't know. It's like a box around it. So you can have a good action that results in a bad consequence. Or you can have a bad action that could result in a good consequence. And obviously you have one-to-one. And I feel like the different motivations for characters, like it has, in order to create a plot, because you could be a bad person, but you actually have a positive influence on another character's advancement in a plot. So it's like, I think that's me trying to understand like how plot works, because plot is like, it's created through characters and setting, but it's like it's its own entity that's created, that exists outside of what the characters and setting are. Kita, we sawed a female Swedish journalist to pieces while she was still alive and conscious. Jeez. Messed up. The submarine killer Peter Madsen escaped from the nearby. Oh, I'm starting to question whether or not you actually live on an island. Whether any of what you're saying is real or not. You are a writer, you know. Spoiler alert: it's all real. Whether it's actually real or not, it's still all real in our minds. It has a real effect on us. You know what I've been working so hard to get back to? Is a bit when and obviously a lot of it is because I've been going through so much stuff in my own life. And it's just been so, like, all-encompassing. Like, transitioning is really fucking hard, okay? Like, Jesus Christ, being transgender is hard. Especially with my needs of needing surgeries. And so, you know, I got my orchiectomy down, but I still have facial surgery and vaginoplasty to go through. So it's exhausting as fuck. You know, doing the legal name change, just getting on hormones in the first place was a process. Luckily, as soon as I was ready to get on hormones, it didn't take too long. My doctors were ready to fight for me. They already knew, because I had come out a long time ago. But obviously, I had to go through the, you know, the process. It took a couple weeks. And then obviously, the whole process of transitioning medically takes a very long time. And I'm still transitioning, really. I mean, hormones take a long time to work. I'm going through a really long puberty. It's still supposedly faster. I mean, I am an adult, so it's like I work differently than when a teenager would. You're bi and you haven't told my family and friends. Aww. Yeah, it's really tough to come out to family and friends. I'm like, I consider myself pan, although I guess it's fundamentally the same. I mean, it's functionally the same as being bi, but I feel like pan is slightly different. Because I see, the way I see pan, like, pan, the way I see pan versus bi, I feel like pan is like you have like a spectrum, and like sometimes you're like asexual, sometimes you're more sometimes you're more sapphic, sometimes you're more phallic or whatever. And also, I think there's also like an element of like poly and monogamy as well. Like there's like poly or mono. Like I feel like there's a whole different stuff that goes into it. Like I shift, and I think the main definition is like others gender is others gender doesn't really play a role. It doesn't factor. Doesn't quite factor into my tastes. Into my tastes at any given moment. It's just I just want what I want, and that's the way I feel about pansexual. But I feel like it's functionally the same as bi, because I feel like this is just true for everybody. Like whether you're bi or pan or straight or gay or asexual. Like I feel like obviously people who are asexual or straight or gay don't really think about it as much. Or I mean, maybe they do, but I feel like that they have way more tendencies towards one, and so they strongly identify with that. Whereas I feel like bi is just like all genders. Like you know, and obviously I still think that it is a spectrum, that there is like a spectrum that people go through. You're more attracted to transgender people? Well, then you're, you know, that's a, you know, I'm glad that you're into trans. I'm into trans people. I really don't, you know, because the thing is there's it doesn't make you any more or less bi. It doesn't make, and also if you know, somebody's genitals doesn't necessarily mean that you also like other people with those genitals. So like if you're into trans women who have a penis, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be into men with penises. And the same with people with vaginas. Like you can be into women with vaginas, but not necessarily men with vaginas. And I don't know. I just think understanding sexuality is more of a personalized and like a spectrum. I really think it's more useful in the long run. Some people are like, you know, strongly identify as gay or lesbian. And so it's like, you know, more power to you, you know, like it's not my place. It's, you know, the way I see it is it's like, it's not really a part of my identity. It's just like, I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like. And sometimes it changes. And I think it's the shifting nature that makes it more pan. And I think with bi, it's like, it's kind of equal. It's more steady. Like, shifting, like you're panning, like across. But like, that's the way I see it anyway. And then bi is like, you know, stable. Like you're kind of like, it's kind of more balanced. Like I think people who are bi are generally like just into everything that they're into on a consistent basis. Whereas with me, a lot of the times I'm asexual, like honestly. But I'm more into sapphic. But I also like, I've also been, you know, since being on hormones and being comfortable with my gender, I've been able to allow myself to be attracted to more masculine, like to men, and but I do prefer, like most of the time, being with like I would love to be with a woman who has a penis, like honestly, like But it's really hard to find people in general, let alone somebody who you're into. So it's, especially trans people, we're kind of rare. So it's, and I don't meet people with the intention of really being with them unless it, you know, one time I met a guy on a dating app and it was like a one night stand, but like, you know, okay, that's nice, but I think I'm looking for something more like of a friend. In more platonic relationships. And not only that, but it's really difficult to do that, especially when I'm going through so much stuff right now, and it's really complicated sometimes. But either way, I don't like locking myself into any kind of, as far as my sexuality goes, I just like what I like and I don't like what I don't like, and that can change, in my opinion, for myself. And it doesn't mean that you should just, you know, there's this like idea that everybody should like fit into a category, and I don't think it's anyone's business but your own. Like, some people don't care, and that's fine, and some people care a lot, and that's fine. So I think it's like, it's frustrating when people go around and say, oh, these LGBTQIA plus LMNOP people, you know, like they're always talking, they're always shoving it in your face, and it's like, well, maybe there's a reason. It's probably because there's like systemic like hatred that's like downtrodden us for like thousands of years, you know. So, and then there's like people actively trying to hurt us, and basically create a society where, you know, perpetuating the idea that's detracting from the norm, instead of just being a natural part of life, where some people are gay, some people are straight, some people are asexual. Like, you know, like, what is the big deal? Like, it's always existed, and the only thing that's different is that Griset ish Russia Nadesha ya Tesha Shrey Korosho. I don't know what you just said, but and I don't know if I read the Cyrillic correctly, but yeah, you know, you know what sucks is there's probably a lot of people who are angry at individual Russian people just for being Russian. And you know what that reminds me of? Because of the stuff going on with Russia and Ukraine right now, it reminds me of like when 9/11 happened and people were so like racist towards anybody who looked like they were from the Middle East. Even people who have been Americans their entire life. You know, just violence against people just for being Middle Eastern. And people just attacking people just because they think that terrorist equals Islam. And Islam is not terrorism. People who are terrorists are not Islamic. They say they are, but they are not. But the same with what's going on with Russia. You know, it's like, obviously Putin and the government is not the same as the people, and I'm sure a lot of people do not agree with Putin's actions, just like how a lot of people don't agree with Trump's actions when he was president. So it's like, I think canceling an entire country, you know, some people out there do that, and people are doing that now with Russia, and it's like the same kind of stuff that we did when 9/11 happened. Like, come on, like, people are people. You know, people will equate individual people with the actions of an entire country, of like a country's government. And it's like, come on, like, that's a separate entity. Like, people are amazing. And obviously there's bad people, but like, you know, for the most part, like, every single person you meet is an individual universe, and you can see like life in their eyes.
Привет из России, надеюсь, у тебя все хорошо. Привет из России, надеюсь, у тебя все хорошо.
Yeah, and you know the thing is, you know what like all the businesses are doing is actually kind of smart.
Спасибо. У нас все хорошо. Счастливого дня и вам.
Like all the businesses and the sanctions going against Russia is gonna make Putin look like a total fucking idiot. like the Russian people are gonna be so angry at Putin because like they don't have their McDonald's anymore. When you take away people's McDonald's, you take away the president's power. That's how you do it. Yeah, and please don't type other languages in the chat. Moobot doesn't like it.
Жизнь в России сейчас тяжелая из-за Путина.
Life in Russia is hard now because of Putin.
Yeah, so you know, obviously, you know, one little teeny step at a time. Get like a little scene written, and it takes like one little teeny tiny millimeter step towards the end of my story. Understanding what the characters are all about, understanding what their goals are, and obviously, you know, I improvise a lot, and then it helps me build a bigger understanding of what the story will end up being. And I think like I need to be okay with that. I need to learn how to accept that it is a process and it takes time, and that I can't just expect myself to just write an entire story just by sitting down and trying really hard. Like I need to like just take a little teeny tiny bit at a time. And obviously there's a lot of stuff I can do besides just drafting. Like I can actually work out ideas, and I've been doing that lately with my little stylus pen, and writing stuff and drawing stuff and figuring out how my thought process works and all that. But hopefully we'll get rolling at some point. As soon as I get more and more, it gets easier to write, the more I understand something. I'm really trying to take a structured approach and something that'll be sustainable over time so that I can actually get stuff written. Because, you know, just improvising all the time can be kind of chaotic. Because, you know, when I first wrote the draft of my novel, I just typed. And that's good too. I should probably do that more too. But I'm attempting to build a different skill. And eventually I'll be able to combine the two and get the best of both. Where I can outline and just let myself write without inhibition. Like just completely just write and figure it out later how to deal with it. And that's kind of what I'm doing, and I'm building it again. I'm building it, and it's going to take a little bit of time, and before you know it, I'll be like writing out pages at a time, you know? It takes time to build that, and I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Anyway, see you guys.